All right, cool. Let's move on. We got a brand new segment that we're gonna introduce, where we basically are gonna try to continue to bring up teams that are on the rise, because what I noticed from our YouTube traffic on the YouTube channel is that when we talk about different small market teams, those videos seem to do they might not go crazy or do anything, but people seem to actually watch them and engage in it. Like, we had a couple comments on the Orlando video that we did last week, and people were talking about Vukovic and all that stuff like that. So this segment is called Are You a Believer? So this week's team for Are You a Believer is the Detroit Pistons, right? Pistons are quietly having a very, 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 very good season so far to start the year off. Right now, they currently sit at 6-3. They are 3-2 on the road and 3-1 at home. They got a point differential of +3. They're scoring around 104 and only giving up around 101 points per game. So overall, they're having a really good year. Reggie Jackson is Reggie Jackson, but Tobias Harris has been hooping. He's averaging 19.7 points per game, 4.1 rebounds, and 1.5 assists. Reggie Jackson is averaging 15.6 points per game, 4 rebounds, and 6.2 assists. And Avery Bradley is averaging 15.4.
That's not even the shocking thing.
Game.
Andre Drummond shoots 77% from the line.
Yeah. How many free throws has he taken though?
I don't know, but he's shooting 77% from the line. He went from 38% to 77%. I don't care if he's taking 10. He's shooting 77% from the line. Yeah. That was my main thing about Andre Drummond. I said that I like him, but the reason I put it with DJ's free throw woes is because DJ is an exceptional defender, and Drummond is not an exceptional defender. He rebounds, but he's not an exceptional defender. But if he gonna shoot like this from the line,
yes. Okay.
If he gonna shoot like this from the line and give me 14.2 boards and basically 14 points a night,
Andre Drummond this year has taken 36 free throws and he's made 28 of them, which is insane. So
now I don't think it's gonna continue at 77%, but if he can shoot about 65%, I am fine with that. I still don't like Reggie Jackson. Avery Bradley's play is not gonna decline because he's playing for a contract. And he looks like he's come back a much improved shooter. Even though in the playoffs last year,
in terms of going to the even I like him using his shot and the way to go to the rim more. He's been doing it a lot more this year.
Yeah. I'm not a full-on believer, but they're gonna be a playoff team. I don't see why they wouldn't be a playoff team unless they suffer injury. Also, Stanley Johnson, I picked him up in fantasy. Stanley Johnson has been better. For their sake, I hope that they're a playoff team because they just moved into that new arena.
Yeah, which they're not selling.
Which they're not selling out at all. So I hope that they're a playoff team, and I think that they will be a playoff team.
For the Pistons,
I'm probably higher on them than I am the Magic, honestly.
Okay, and that's actually where I supremely disagree with you. When I'm gonna go, are you a believer or not? I'm gonna say no. Now that is contingent upon the Eric Bledsoe rumors that have been circulating around, potentially them trying to land Eric Bledsoe. If the Pistons can land Eric Bledsoe, he's a good fit for that team. Puts them, to me, at a 4 or 5 seed, potentially in the East.
See, I'm not going that high regardless.
I'm going that high. You want to know why? Because Tobias Harris is a solid defender. Avery Bradley is a good defender. And Eric Bledsoe will be able to score along with Avery Bradley and Tobias Harris. And you still have Andre Drummond, who's still going to give you about 14 boards a game. They by adding Eric Bledsoe, turn themselves into a team that could potentially be scary for a team like a Washington or a Cleveland. I'm sorry, not Cleveland, like a Washington or a Celtics or any of those middle of the pack teams in the East where if they mess around and go up against Detroit, they might get knocked out in the first round and nobody expected it. So from that perspective, if they get Bledsoe, I'm a believer. But at this point, I'm not a believer. And this is why. They're 14th in the league right now in terms of defensive efficiency. At 103 points. At 103 points per game. And in terms of offensive efficiency, Detroit is tied for 14th, right behind Boston, actually, averaging only 105.3 points per game. I still don't think Tobias Harris will be able to keep up damn near 20 points per game for the entire season. I think Avery Bradley will drop more to around 14. I still don't even necessarily know if Andre Drummond is going to continue to have the performance that he's been having so far this year. Period. Like, he's averaging 13.8 and 14.2. Mm-hmm. You would hope he would keep that up, but you don't know. He's one of those guys, especially with his free throw shooting woes. What if he gets into a slump and loses confidence again? And then he's back to being a 44% free throw shooter. Then you're back to square one with this team because now you have a guy out there who can rebound and take up space in the paint. They can't stay on the floor because you can hack them and send them to the line.
One thing I like about this team more than Orlando is Orlando shoots a lot of threes, and Orlando shoots a lot of threes, and I don't think that is gonna sustain all year. And also, I think they have better coaching. I think Stan Van Gundy is a better coach than Frank Vogel. Stan Van Gundy has been to the playoffs. If I'm not mistaken, Stan Van Gundy been to the finals, right? No.
No, he got fired.
He got fired, and he came
to go to team. He got fired.
No, he been to the finals with fucking.
With D-Wade and
Orlando.
Oh, with Dwight?
Yeah, with Dwight.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like Stan Van Gundy is a very good coach.
He did.
I think Van Gundy is a better coach than Frank Vogel. And again, I think there's no reason to think Tobias can't keep up around 19. I mean, he was averaging 16 last year. So that's, to me, and he's taking 3 more shots a game this year.
Okay, this is why, to me personally, Orlando is going to stay where they are, and this is why I'm more of a believer in Orlando than the Pistons. Number one, Orlando in terms of offensive efficiency this year, they're number 6 right now. So even if they drop 5 to 10 more spots, they're exactly where Detroit is right now. And if they drop down 5 to 10 more spots, listen to the teams that are in that area. You have Boston, you have Detroit, you have Oklahoma City, you have Brooklyn, you have Charlotte, you have Philly, you have New Orleans, and you have Memphis, you have New York, Miami, and Phoenix in terms of going all the way down to the 23rd spot. A lot of those teams in the top 23, you looking at as playoff teams, potentially, especially a team like Memphis. They're not even putting up the amount of points that they are. And in terms of the efficiency for Orlando is still top 10 in the NBA right now, actually, only giving up 109 points a game. So they're going to continue. So the way that this new offense is working, now that they've modernized their offense more and they're shooting more threes, I think that they're going to be fine. I really think they're going to be fine. Even if you look at true shooting percentage, Orlando is number 2 in the NBA right now, still at true shooting percentage. And in terms of their efficiency with the field goals, they're number 2 as well. So all around, their offensive numbers are going toe to toe with Golden State. So if they can keep up, if they can drop a third of that still puts them in the middle of the pack versus the Pistons, who are solely relying on Reggie Jackson and Andre Drummond to take you to that next step.
Tobias Harris too, but again,
but do you consider them to be next step guys? I don't know about that.
I don't consider. I mean, Orlando is contingent on a lot of things too.
But I think Orlando has a better all-around team than Detroit does.
See, I'm not sure about that.
I disagree there. Orlando is even deeper.
About that.
Orlando is even deeper, coming off the bench. Orlando even has a stronger bench.
Yeah, but I like Detroit's top more than I like Orlando's top.
I would honestly argue that Vukovic. I'm
not giving you that.
I would damn near argue that Vukovic is probably better than everyone on the Pistons, with the exception of Andre Drummond.
No, because Avery Bradley is the best perimeter defender in the league. Avery Bradley's the best perimeter defender in the league.
Mean, you saw that up when they played Golden State.
He's the best perimeter defender in the league, and also I don't think his offensive game is gonna decline because he's playing for a contract. Avery Bradley is playing for a contract, so I don't think his game is gonna decline this year. If anything, it damn near might improve because he's playing for a contract. So I like him. Again, Reggie Jackson's a fucking numbnut. That's the only thing that worries me because Reggie Jackson, I just don't like the way Reggie Jackson plays. Reggie Jackson plays like Russ if he wasn't that good.
I mean, that's who he is.
Exactly. Russ if he wasn't that good. That's the only thing that worries me. But again, Drummond's free throw, again, I don't think it's going to stay at 77%. But if it can at least stay around 66%, that makes him a very, very valuable player. That makes him a guy that I'm not trading.
Okay.
And also, Stanley Johnson's a great defender. Well, not great, but good defender. They have a lot of guys who can play defense and defend multiple positions.